Okay, I'm here with Gary, and he's a tour guide at the Clemente Museum, and he was lucky enough to see Roberto Clemente play. So, can you just tell us what that was like for people that haven't got that experience and didn't get to see him live?
He has been described, and I fully subscribe to this, as a beautiful athlete. When I was a kid, my dad would get us tickets, Forbes Field. We would sit in the right field grandstand because that's where he was. You couldn't take your eyes off him when he was on the field. He just had a regal quality to him, just a smooth athlete that played with flair, played with Elon, and obviously was great. And so he was just attractive.
Can you tell me like what he meant to the city of Pittsburgh back then, and maybe like the legacy he's left behind? Because I feel like people still resonate with him today.
Yeah, they still do very, very much. In fact, if you go to a game, Park game today, you still see more 21 jerseys than any other number. But you have to start actually understanding in the 50s when he first came here. He was not yet the star that he became. Struggled. He was different. And as I said, he played with that flair, and people called him a hot dog. And, so he struggled to really get to the point that he player that he did become. But it was evident as he continued to grow that he was great. He was going to be a superstar. He cared. He played hard. And in a blue collar town like Pittsburgh, if you exhibit those qualities, those traits of working hard at what you do and caring about what you do, then you become pretty popular. And so that's what happened.
Does he have the best right field arm you've ever seen?
Absolutely. There are other good right field arms. Dave Parker had a good one. Parts had a guy who's kind of obscure. His name was Jose Guillen.
Yeah,
He had a
yep.
great throwing arm. And there's others. Vlad obviously
Mm-hmm.
had a great one. But all you need to do, go onto YouTube, search Clemente 71 World Series highlights. Look at those two throws he made in Memorial Stadium. And I think that settles the argument.
I'm gonna have to check that out. It definitely will. So, like going back to '71, like how much do you think it meant for him to be part of a team that's all Latino and all black, and they actually broke through and won the World Series, being like the first team that had an all starting nine like that?
Yeah, I think that did mean a lot to him. I've never seen any quotes or anything from him.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I talked to Al Oliver about that once, and they didn't know until about midway through the game that that's what was happening.
Oh,
Al
wow.
said that he was sitting beside Dave Cash on the bench, and Dave kind of poked him and said, "Look around." He said, "There's all brothers out here."
It's
So
crazy.
they didn't even know. And that was, that was kind of what was accepted. They just had a team. They were putting that team on the field, and they were going to play and try to win the game. But obviously, Roberto, especially for the Latino community, which, I would love to see his uniform number retired across baseball
Hmm.
because he meant to the Latino community what Jackie meant to the African American community. And so I'm sure that was very meaningful to him.
Yeah, I have a lot of family that's Puerto Rican. Actually, I'm like half myself, sort of some context. But so like my cousins and my grandparents, like they tell me about like they love him. They saw pictures of him and stuff. But with that, like how much you kind of touched on when he meant to the community. Like how good of a person was he? Like I know he died in like a heroic act as well, so it's probably hard to quantify. And he serves an award too, so he just seems like a guy that was like willing to sacrifice for other people.
And he definitely was. The story of what he was doing when the plane crashed, his mission to Nicaragua. Of course, he had just been there. He had talked to any number of those people whose homes were destroyed. They were homeless, family members dying. So, I mean, that obviously is well known and evident. What's probably less known is when he was here in Pittsburgh, just as an example. He would go to the Pittsburgh School for the Blind, Pittsburgh Children's Hospital, interact with the kids, and tell the teachers and doctors and nurses, look, I want no publicity. If the media start coming, I'm going to stop coming because that's not why I'm here. I'm here to work with the children. He loved children. And he did all these clinics in Puerto Rico and other places. Baseball was his passion, but children was his other passion.
Well, Gary, thank you so much. This is very insightful.
All right, thank you.